I have a new video out called Little Nashville on My Mind. And so I love fall. Like, that song is really about things that I'm very passionate about, which is the changing of the seasons. You know, change is inevitable. Personal growth is optional. So whenever the fall comes, it reminds me, like, what do I need to do to grow?
This is Sean with Voices Live On, and we're here with Rich Hardesty, a music legend, not just here in Indiana, but around the, well, should we say world, maybe?
I've traveled all around the world with my music, but I'm an independent, underground type of guy, so it's all good, man.
All right, we're here at your home. You've had this place for a few years down in Brown County. Is that Nashville? Basically, we're right outside of town.
Yes, we are.
All right, so you're influenced. You're influenced by the whole area. It's one of the reasons you wanted to come down here, right?
No question. Been coming here since the 70s, camping here, in tents, in campers. I brought my bike here, my skateboards, my dogs, my son, my girlfriend. You know, back in the day when I went to IU, even when I lived out of state in California, I would always visit my favorite little town, little Nashville, Indiana, right here. You better believe it.
All right, so let's talk about what you got going on right now as far as what's coming out.
Well, I just dropped a new song called Indiana Girls. I wrote it 14 years ago, or I think about 14 years ago, but I reproduced it here because I'm getting so inspired here. So Little Nashville on My Mind, I pumped out of here at the cottage, the Cliff House. You know, If This Guitar Could Sing, Treehouse, and the recent one, Tip Jar Guy. So yeah, I decided I want to drop a single just about every 3 weeks because I got so many. Why not?
You got a lot in the vault. Isn't that what you said on Friday night?
That's what I said on Friday night.
So you had a little private show here for a friend for his birthday on Friday.
Yeah, JC. A lot of you guys know JC's been traveling with me for years. He's helped keep the dogs safe when we're on the road and stuff. So we had his 51st birthday party right here in the backyard. It was amazing.
All right, so what kind of places do you play in town?
You know, around here, I like the Story Inn, of course. That's a secret, so check out the Story. I play Hard Truth Distillery. I do Big Woods, the Brown County Inn. You know, I space them out. I'm not always playing, but it is a tourist town. So this Sunday, I'm going to be at the Ferguson House from, you know, in the middle of the day with Corey Flick. So lots of little venues. Plus, you know, you got Cedar Creek Winery right over here in Martinsville. You got Bloomington, Indiana, right down the road. It's a very nice location. You can be in Nashville, Tennessee, just like that. So,
and I heard Johnny Depp's coming in town on Wednesday. Did you hear that?
He sure is. He who's he got with him?
I'm not sure. They were just talking about it.
Beck. By the way, I shared a green room with Johnny Depp. The Late Show. Letterman flew me out to New York one time to do my where I ride the unicycle treadmill harmonica stunt. And it was the same Thursday that Johnny Depp had his band there. So that's crazy. Now he's here in Little Nashville. So,
all right. So let's talk about Jamaica. You've got a big love in Jamaica, and you've done a lot of creative music development down there. And is there something else with the Marleys? Is that
I recently I got to work with Julian Marley and some of Bob's band members from back in the day, like Sly Dunbar, Anthony Cruz, the horn section, Edgerton Brothers. Just, yeah, I've been blessed. I've been in Jamaica so many times. Thoughts become things. I vibrated on this energy plane and I landed in Kingston, Jamaica working with the Marleys. And I got to launch my CD on Bob's birthday with the Marleys. So that's the greatest hits, because I could tell we could go on and make a movie about all that. But.
So when was the first time you were down in Jamaica playing music?
First time was, I think, 1993. I was invited down there. I brought my acoustic guitar, had no idea what to expect. I thought the word Jamaica sounded really, really cool, and I feel like it was a place I needed to visit. And since then, I'm part Jamaican. They call me a Jamaican. I don't know if you can see my...
Oh, yeah.
It's the only one I got.
All right, so the first time I met you was you playing a show up at Ball State, and that was in '93. And there were some good hilarity tracks that you put together back in the day. That's something I thought that it's always good about your lyrics, is that you really get deep and you make people really think about their own lives, as well as you putting a nice parody on the story.
Thank you.
So what's one of your favorites over the years that, let's say kind of from the beginning, like one of the first real songs you put out, you thought was a really good storytelling bass line? Yeah,
there's one I just revisited off of Jonesin, which is my first CD. It's called You Turn Me On. And I'm uncomfortable when I hear songs from that far away in the beginning, because I'm like, geez, my voice changed so much. You know, like I didn't know what I was doing maybe. But so I'm redoing that one because I'm like, this song has a chance, you know, something maybe as a 54-year-old man I'm going to re-release that one. But man, I don't have favorites. Right now, it would be the one I wrote about my dad, If This Guitar Could Sing, because that tells a story about the journey. It talks about Jamaica, Jägermeister, Indiana, you know, a guitar, all the relationships, friends that I met through that guitar that my dad got me, all the dogs and friends and music and the happiness and memories made. So,
all right, so what's some of the other highlights in your career outside of Indiana that you've been able to experience?
You know, I thought that it's I can't think of the name of it now. It's a little town right outside of Byron Bay, Australia. I had a chance to go play in, I can't think of it right now, Australia, okay? Right outside of Byron Bay. And when I think of it here, I'll tell you. So that was a good time. You know, Jamaica's always been fun. I always have my guitar with me. So like, you know, in the last 10 years, you know, I've hopped on cruise ships with the Marleys, you know, with 311, Slightly Stupid, Pepper. I got to go to St. Thomas, St. John, St. Martin, you know, islands that I don't even know or can pronounce out in the middle of the Caribbean, but I always have my guitar with me. So, you know, that would be fun. Canada was always a good escape. Toronto, we had some really good gigs in Toronto. We got to play the convention center, a little place called Rancho Relaxo. I played up in Alberta one time. But I just love culture. I love people. And I always said, if I keep traveling with this guitar, then I can keep writing songs about the experiences that I have. So to me, it's like a perfect storm. Having that guitar, being able to make words rhyme. I love to make words rhyme. So if I find this new little secret spot down a little dirt road, wherever I am, I'm like, well, I got to go write a song about it. You know, my latest husky, his name's Gnawbone. Of course, I'm going to write a song called Gnawbone.
So you were in Kauai and you gave me a little shout out on the beach. Remember that?
Oh, yes, I do. Wow, what a beautiful place that was. I remember feeding a rooster a Cheerios.
Cheerios.
Was it a Cheerio? I just remember that rooster came up to me and went.
So who are some of, like, from the beginning? Well, here's a great question.
Yeah.
How old were you when you first got paid to play, and where was it?
By the way, that was Nimbin, Australia. Nimbin, Australia. Wow. You know, I was playing for the choir. I begged my mom for the piano, sold the mini bike, sold the organ to get the piano. And then I had to, you know, she said, now you got to practice. So because of my mom, I sat there and practiced. I ended up playing the piano player for the choir. And that led to other things because I didn't read the sheet music. I just saw the chords. And I started making up my own. I play by ear. So first paid gig, you know, I can't remember. Maybe it was at a place called Dick's Bar in LaPorte, Indiana. Probably my first paid gig. And then I went down to IU. I wrote a song in the dorms. And then it kept getting paid. Like, oh, crap, I'm going to get paid to do this? I thought I had to go out and get a job. You know, I went to Kelly School of Business. But I actually didn't. I never had to. I mean, I work. Don't get me wrong. I run other companies, and I'm a work. I work. Like I can't even sit still and watch a football game. Okay, I always have to be working. So, but with that said, music has definitely been the gateway to do what I really love to do, which meet people. You know, meet people, travel, and visit culture. Just have fun.
So, who would you say top 3 influential when you were young in your style?
Jim Croce, Gordon Lightfoot, James Taylor, Mac Davis. I mean, those are the first ones I heard from my mom and dad's 8-track cassettes and the vinyl records that they had. Fleetwood Mac, geez, Eagles. Yeah, you asked for 2, I gave you 5.
Who would you say would be one of your favorite people you've opened for, that you were excited to open for them?
Okay, I mean, John Oates, because when I was a kid, I didn't even open for him. We were in a movie together, but when I was a kid, I always used to sing, "She's a rich girl, and she's gone too far." Remember that one? And whoa, here she comes. So I find myself in a movie with John Oates. I had a broken arm and a broken wrist, and we're in a movie singing "Man-Eater" and a song that I wrote. So I guess that would be, you know, the Marleys. How could I ever say it? That was mind-blowing. It's kind of weird that I got to work with some of Bob Marley's kids. Like, that was just such a blessing. But then again, vibrational frequencies. That's all I thought about for years was Jamaica, so it kind of led me to that. But Eddie Money was a good one. You know, Loverboy was cool, just because I grew up dressing up like Loverboy. So it was fun to play before those guys. So yeah, too many to really say that's my favorite.
All right, so out of how many have you recorded and how many are still in the vault?
So I think there's 17 out now, 17 independent records, starting with Jonesin. And then in the vaults, I mentioned in an interview the other day, I have enough to never have to write another song. I'm not trying to impress anybody. It's just to impress upon you that I'm a prolific songwriter, and the fact that we go in there right now, I can put out a song every single day. and they're all in the vaults, which means I already wrote them. They're hanging out, being ready to put out there. So it's fun, but I'm still writing every day too. I just wrote just a couple this weekend. So I want to stop writing, but it's nice to know I have some shelf life and I have some stuff waiting in the vaults because it's all about you guys. I already know what the songs sound like, but if I didn't share them with you, I thought I would be selfish. So,
all right, so let's go inside and check out some of your classic guitars.
Okay.
All right. So Rich, we are now in your home and we have your Huskies around here. So what's this one's name?
This is Cedar. She's about a year old, recent rescue from Joni Zupan, Siberian Husky, Indiana Rescue. This is another one I got right after her. This one is Gnawbone, and I got him from the Speedway Siberian Husky Rescue from Joni Brown. The other one I got back in 2013 from the Siberian Husky. That's Yukon.
Hey, Yukon.
He's about 9. And then I put down on my 16-year-old Husky Muckluck last summer, which is why I've adopted 2 more to keep Yukon. You know, we waited a while, but.
All right, so let's hear about this guitar.
So yeah, this guitar, I went into Roxy's music store with my dad in LaPorte, Indiana. I wanted to have an acoustic guitar. We didn't really have a lot of money growing up as kids, so we negotiated with the guy at Roxy's and we bought this. My dad put a sticker on it so you couldn't see the crack. These are known to crack over time, but this guitar I was staring at the other day and I go, oh my gosh. And I wrote a song. Instead of telling you about it, you can listen to it. It's called If This Guitar Could Sing. But if my dad hadn't gave me this, you know, I met so many people because of this guitar. And so the songs go from Jamaica to Indiana, the Jägermeister tours. It's all in that song, If This Guitar Could Sing.
All right, so you also have some carvings from your grandfather, is that right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a whiskey. This is a wine lid. So my step-grandpa was Birdsong. My other grandpa was Caparuso from Italy, right? So you have an Indian. This is an heirloom on the back of it. So you can see right here, it's got the dates and stuff. But my grandpa was a Cherokee Indian. He was just like a grandpa, even though he was a step-grandpa. My dad called him Pop, but I remember sitting on his knee while he whittled these things. So when he passed, I wanted all the carvings, and nobody else seemed to care. So I slowly have gotten so many carvings because I don't know. I just appreciate them. You know, I'm an artist, and I think he influenced me. Now that one came from Jamaica. So 90% of everything in here, in fact, we should, when we leave later, I should show you the totem pole that's outside. But yeah, see this is on one of my CDs that I put out, self-titled Rich Hardesty. We let that float when I lived in Hermosa Beach, California. So that's been in the ocean and now it's here in Brown County and now it's on the cover of a CD that I put out. So I like these masks. They call them masks. This is another one. I think that's beautiful. You know, you go down here in one of the shops. Can you imagine how much you pay for a carving? So, you know, I got his first carving actually. By the way, this entire property is a fixer-upper. So when you see stuff hanging up, I'm renovating and fixing this little cottage here. This one was the first one he ever carved, and it says it right here. It says 1968, October, first carving from Hamer Birdsong, Kingsford Heights, Indiana. This came from a willow from Pine Lake area in LaPorte. So how did I end up with the first one? It wasn't planned. I was looking at these. Oh my gosh, I accidentally have his first carving, and I was born in 1968. Isn't that cool? This one he never finished. So this one, he was like 54 when he passed away, but he never finished this one. So this needs a headdress on it. And I thought maybe I could figure that out and do that.
And this gentleman back here with the smoking pipe.
Now, this was a gift. Everybody knows I love Jamaica, so every once in a while. So that was given to me, and I'm going to space that right now. Who gave that to me? I think it was Chris Link.
You got a California license plate guitar. You've got Indiana.
My brother makes those for me. He's real creative. My younger brother, Scott. So that's a Hamer Birdsong carving, though. And the longer you have them, the more they kind of wear out on you. But
so was there anybody else in your family that was musically inclined?
Yeah, my grandpa that came from, basically my great-grandpa came from Italy and the Bluebird in Valparaiso, Indiana. He was a musician. So I have a 45 that his son, my grandpa, put out. It's called Floridays. He was a big Florida guy, and so I still have the 45, and he played the organ and the keyboard. So on that side of the fence, for sure. My mom played the piano, and she's kept me on the piano when I was a young kid. So it's in our family, but not a lot of it. There's not a lot of musicians in the family. But
so who would you say that would be somebody that's kind of always stuck with you musically wise that's always played with you throughout the years? What's one of the most long-lasting?
Michael Smith, one of the originators from the Y Store, recently said, "Hey, Rich, I played with you more than I did the Y Store at this point. You know, we've been playing together for 20 years. Chris Combs, my bass player, we've been playing since the 7th grade. We still get together and jam. Mo Z, you know, he was with Mellencamp and Jacob Dylan and many. I've been still playing with him when I can, you know, put something together with him. So years, that was 30 years ago I met him. So I like to play. I don't think I try not to burn bridges. I like to have, you know, hey, if I need to throw together a 9-piece band or it's a 3-piece band, I love to keep relationships with really badass musicians like Corey Flick right now here in Brown County. We're jamming, we're gelling. He's like one of my close friends. And I don't want to leave people out, but John Gray on the drums, we've been playing together for years. You know, I met him down in Bloomington. He's played with Duke Tomato and Henry Lee Summer and all that. So I do know that I have a lot of very badass musicians in my pocket, and we're close friends too. So when we get to jam, it's kind of like we're all geeking out like, hey, this is way too much fun. So
let's go take a look at where your piano setup is and the view you have to create.
Sounds good.
So you said you're about 180 feet up a cliff. Is that right?
But
this is where you get a look out from your piano.
Yeah.
And create.
This, you can even, from the sauna, you can see out there too, or guitar. I'm always moving things around. So this piano was over there in the corner, but now I got to have the big bed for the 3 Huskies. But I thought right now, the fall, I have a new video out called Little Nashville on My Mind. And so I love fall. Like that song is really about things that I'm very passionate about, which is the changing of the seasons. You know, change is inevitable. Personal growth is optional. So whenever the fall comes, it reminds me, like, what do I need to do to grow? Or I stay the same, right? If you just stay the same, you know, I like to, the only thing that's constant really is change. And so when I see the leaves, it reminds me that, wow, we're always moving, we're always vibrating, we're always changing. So that's a good thing. That means that you can keep progressing and personal growth. I know it sounds corny, but I've had to go through a lot of personal growth just to stay alive in this music business. So you got to stay on your game.
All right, so why don't you play us a little something? Something really means something to you.
Okay. When my dad passed, away, my son was real little at the time, and I wrote this song to remind myself. I heard about it in a book one time where John Maxwell, in the beginning of the book, talked about don't die with the music still inside of you. Wayne Dyer's daughter, Serena, wrote a book like that, and I wrote a song all about that for my son because I wanted him to learn from my dad's experience and mine to go out and live, right? The love has always been there. I need to get out of my way. Turn off the broken record that is spinning every day. I believe there's something more, and I'm ready for the ride. Wake up the sleeping tiger that's inside. Don't leave this world with a song inside of you. Don't die with the music playing inside of you. Never settle to exist. You got too much to give. Wake up in the present moment of the life that you could live. Be the leader to follow. Sing as loud as you can. If they criticize and they bat their eyes, they don't understand. Don't leave this world with the song inside of you. Don't die with the music playing inside of you. Peace is the sweet spot in the moment that you feel. The stepping stones and the obstacles, fear is never real. The power of forgiveness will always set you free. The power of the now is all it'll ever be. Don't leave this world with a song inside. Don't die with the music playing inside. Music. We rise above.
That's beautiful.
Sleeping Tiger.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
All right, so Rich, you're relaxing in your hammock on the cliff. What are you going to bring us home with? What's going to be the song?
Well, this thing doesn't have any volume. I mean, if we're going to play one, I probably ought to get Little Nashville on my mind.
Well,
let me run in right inside real quick.
All right.
I didn't catch my breath. So you asked what song, you know, Little Nashville on my mind. I just dropped the new video. It's beautiful. You can see the trees and the leaves and all that. We talked about it before. So this is a song I wrote right here on the hill. One more cup of coffee and I'll be ready for the leaves falling to the ground. Keep on keeping on, I'm racing out the door. I'm on my way to my secret little town, where the pileated woodpeckers go and the tall sycamore trees grow. I'm an Indiana boy, keeping it real in the Brown County hills, Little Nashville, Indiana. Little Nashville on my mind, singing at the top of my lungs, going down the highway. Road less traveled, Hoosier in the USA. 'Cause I ain't got time to wait for someday. I made up my mind before time slips away, where the big buck and the coyotes roam and the tall pine trees grow. I'm an Indiana boy, keeping it real in the Brown County hills, Little Nashville, Indiana. Little Nashville on my mind, Little Nashville, Indiana. Little Nashville on my mind. I'm rolling down State Road 45 with a pickup truck and a big dog by my side. Never felt better, 'cause I'm alive, with the Brown County hills on my mind, where the copperheads are hiding, don't you know, and the tall oak trees grow. I'm an Indiana boy, hanging out in the fields in the Brown County hills with my fishing pole. I'm an Indiana boy, keeping it real in the Brown County hills, Little Nashville, Indiana. Little Nashville on my mind. There's a swimming hole down the dusty road, Little Nashville on my mind. There's a campfire at the story, Little Nashville on my mind. There's an eagle in the sky, Little Nashville on my mind.
That was beautiful.
Little Nashville on my mind.
That's great, man. After knowing you for 29 years, it is a pleasure for me to be here.
Sean, thank you for
hear your
coming out.
backstory.
Thanks for coming to the little party we had Friday night. I'm glad you got to come down to Brown County. Let's go fishing sometime too.
That sounds great.
I know some really good places up here where we can go catch bass, some panfish. Just kick back and we'll grab a cold one. And anytime, Sean. Thank you for coming
and thank
to
you for the concert at your home on Friday, which was here. It was great having that intimate scenario with a lot of your good friends. It was really cool.
I love doing that.
We're going to show some clips of that too.
Ooh, nice.
Might even be a episode 2 of this weekend. But Rich, I appreciate it, and you are a legend to a lot of people.
Oh, I appreciate it. You humbled me, buddy, and I appreciate you.
You got it, man.